One's ready. One's ready. Go! So you guys are going into Special Warfare Assessment Selection. It is an attributes-based selection model. What does that mean?
Guys, are we running right now to get fitter? Or are we practicing running? Practicing.
I can't freaking...
So there's a holistic picture that we're looking for. The instructors are giving you input, and we're expecting an output. And everything is for a reason. If you guys haven't heard my spiel yet, everything that we do, every single exercise, has a connection to the job that you're trying to do. We don't want people at INDOC, Special Warfare Assessment Selection, whatever they're gonna call the new course when it inevitably changes somewhere down the road. I don't care what they call it. What I need is you to show me the raw materials for the things that I wanna build you into. Just like everything else, it's a crawl, walk, run.
I can run a keystone just like this. All the way to AETC and never quit. All the way to AETC and never quit.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Still Trent and I. Aaron's out, doing his thing, whatever it is. I still don't know where he's at, but yeah.
Closely guarded secret, the whereabouts of Aaron Love.
I mentioned it yesterday. I'll mention it again today. We still have slots available for the Nashville Operator Training Summit, 25-26 October. Join us. We're going to have I'm going to say it because I'm going to pigeonhole myself here, and then I'm going to get in a whole heap of mess, but we are going to have a ranch that we're going to be camping at and that we're going to be training at, and then we've got a pool at a separate location. But yeah, join us. It's going to be a good time.
A whole heap of mess.
A whole heap. Well,
you bringing South Carolina back?
I'm in Nashville in the South, so trying to prep for that.
I think Nashville's surrounded by the South. I think at this point, Nashville proper is basically Los Angeles East or Hollywood East or whatever.
Yeah, I've actually never been to Nashville, but I hear that about Austin too. That Austin is in Texas.
No, Austin is San Francisco surrounded by Texas. It's not as bad as San Francisco, but, it's fun to venture into, the not Texas, Austin every once in a while, have some fun and leave. The best part about it is you can leave when you're in Texas.
You can leave. And yeah. But so, yeah, I'm trying to get in that mode. So yeah, we're going to throw some Southern slang around here. But yeah. So we still have slots available. If you are interested, email me at jared@onesready.com. And then you guys can also go check out Tasty Gains. They got these creatine gummies. Hey, what do you think about these?
Good.
Now that you finally got yours in.
I like them. I like them a lot. So I got a whole heap of stuff. And yeah, I don't know, pile of gummies. They taste good. I mean, you have to eat a fair bit of them if you're on the creatine train for getting up to 12, 15 per day. But I like it because I can take it anywhere. I can take it to the office. I can throw a couple in here and there, and they taste good. So they're not sticking around too long in my house or my office or my car, all the places where they are.
No, not at all. And then let's see here. Then we'll also cover onesready.com. You guys visit that, head over to the right-hand side where it says prep, partner discounts. And then our feature partner discount today is going to be Modern Athlete Strength Systems. So there's a bunch of URLs here that you guys can see that I've put in there. And there's two pictures. There's the Warfighter and the Warfighter Elite. These are two of the strength and conditioning programs that Modern Athlete Strength System puts together. If you click on those links, it's their link, backslash or whatever it is, One's Ready. So that's our link, and it'll take you to their site. And then you still, to get the discount, put in the One's Ready promo code at checkout and get yourself a discount. They use the Train Heroic app, and the workouts get delivered to you every single day, and you log it in there. They also provide substitutes in there, and there's you can chat with coaches and that kind of stuff. They also have the 90-day Unchained, which is that kind of life coaching thing that they do. And let me turn this off. Life coaching thing that they do. But you're going to have an intake interview with them anyway, and they're going to talk to you and make sure that they are a good fit for you and that you're a good fit for that program. and then just let them know that we sent you and you get yourself a discount as well.
Yep, good
Yes.
folks over there. Sweet.
Yeah. Last thing, last call to action. And it's not an ad read.
I'm already tired.
I know you're tired. Just stick with me real quick. I was just watching a video with Jake Swig, right? That just this morning, and he was covering the Jocko thing where it said, and let me see if I remember the way Jocko put it, because he put it really well. It was 100% of the candidates that go through BUDS think they're going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, and they don't, obviously, with their attrition rate. I think their attrition rate is at 80%. Don't make it. Whereas ours is at 89.
Yeah, they have a little more control, but yeah.
Yeah. And then he also said, hey, 90 or 80%, no, not 80, 100% of the parents think that their kids are going to make it. And then he backed it off. He's like, okay, it's probably not 100% of the parents think their kids are going to make it, but
probably not. Yeah.
So all that to say, we have DM'd with parents, we have emailed with parents, we've commented back and forth. I think I've even been on a phone call with a parent or a couple of parents before. I think it'd be cool to, if you're the parent of somebody who has made it through, like, hit us up. I would like to have you on, and we can hide your name, we can hide your face. We don't even have to put your face on there. We can just block it out, right? But I just want to pick your brain from a parent's perspective on, did you know that little Johnny was going to make it, or did you have your doubts, and what was it like for you as they were going through the pipeline and they couldn't talk very much, that kind of stuff. And that's really for my own education, for nobody else. It's definitely not for the listeners or anybody like that.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's the whole podcast, is us just trying to educate ourselves and trying to put out some stuff, and if it sticks, it sticks. It is what it is.
We'll see.
No, actually, I think we have one that's coming up on graduation or recent grad from our pipeline, and I talk to that dude's dad on a regular basis. So I'm gonna reach out.
Yeah, that'd be great. I just, for me, it's just education, and I think it'd be good for parents anyway, because we do have a significant amount of parents that listen to us.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a fun journey. It's fun because the trainees or the candidates will call their parents, and then their parents will reach out to us. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Still reach out to your parents, still talk to your parents, and be transparent with them. I'm not trying to say that it'll eventually get back to us, because that's not true, but it's, if you're telling, to use British slang, if you're telling porky pies, then you may find out that you're lying.
Yeah, a lot of it just is, like when you're in the pipeline as a student, you don't know everything, and people are throwing acronyms at you that are brand new, especially when you start talking about, your TDYs and all your training stuff, and the reason that your class is getting pushed this way or that way, or why things are happening the way that they are. And then you talk to your parents for like 20 minutes. You're like, okay, these are things happening. I'm not really sure what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And then they hang up. And then the parents are like, hey, Trent, what does this mean? And I'm like, dude, don't worry about that. Or like, dude, we'll look into it. Yeah, they're changing things, so we might get pushed, but it's not, whatever. And I know he's motivated to get to the next class, but if he gets pushed one class, like, whatever, it's fine. But just keep motivating him and all that other stuff.
What we got the other day is, he's like, hey, my son says that he can't talk about what he's doing right.
Yeah,
that
bro.
was a good one. Really? You can't, huh? Boy, I wonder what he's up to. That's right. He's the guy that the CIA came in right off the bat, in the Tier 1 unit came in right off the bat and said, you know what? This guy right here,
yeah,
he's the guy we want and need.
Dude, imagine big timing your parents while you're a pipeline student, your parents.
Yeah. So, what Trent and I kind of, like, I'm talking to other people. So, all right. So let's go into what a career trajectory could look like with the different options. I don't think we've ever covered that before. We've talked about it. We've said, oh yeah, you'll spend X amount of time on team and that kind of stuff. But we haven't talked about, all right, you graduate, you show up the team. And I'm not talking about the pipeline. I'm talking post-pipeline. You graduate, you got your beret, you blouse your boots, and now you're showing up to your team. Let's start on the special tactics side of the house.
Is there another side of the house that matters?
Certainly not Guardian Angel, that's for sure.
A lot of sear bros over there, you know what I mean?
a lot of PJs too. Oh, they burn stuff.
Except most of them don't want to work full time, so they're all guard and reservists anyway.
Just bums. I actually work out with here at CrossFit Apollo. I work out with Nestor. He follows us, we follow him, and he's a guard PJ. And like, dude's a stud, man. Dude's an absolute stud.
Yeah, he's probably happy with his life and all that other crap too. So I don't like him.
Right off the bat, hate him.
I usually start with positive with most people, but if I find out you're in the guard or reserves, that's what. Nope. You're gonna have to earn your way in because y'all are the worst. Stop smiling.
I hate it. All right, so you graduate, you show up to your team, and you're going to be a team dude. More than likely, you're going to be E4 by this time. So E4, your job at that point is to be the best at your craft. You need to be searching out schools. You need to be not hanging out on the internet. You need to be like knowing how to program radios, how to do airfield stuff, how to do fly unmanned aerial vehicles or unmanned aerial systems. If you're on that route to go down the Joint Terminal Attack Controller, you need to be reading the JFire, reading the JPub, those kind of things. Just being the best at your craft.
Yeah, a few things happen right when you first get on team. Is first you're gonna have to prove yourself all over again. And it's not like the pipeline, and we're not gonna likely do anything too crazy when you get there. But you're showing up. There's your pipeline bros. There's probably a few of them there ahead of you that kind of know who you are. But the rest of the unit has no idea who you are. You're just another new guy. So you need to show up with the right mindset. You need to show up being like, hey, I need to show them like my capabilities, and then you need to expect the culture change a little bit. In the pipeline, everything is kind of brought to you, to like all your training events, everything that you have to do, the requirements are just given to you, and as long as you execute those requirements, you pass, you move on. When you get on team, it's a little bit different. Some stuff will be brought to you, like there are requirements that you have to knock out, but like even if it's like, hey man, like you're short your 5 level by these 3 line items, and your supervisor, who is also like a super busy staff or tech sergeant, you're gonna have to do a little bit of work to get after that stuff, and you're gonna have to track your own stuff and start being proactive about your training, which direction you're going, and all that other stuff. So like it's just a little bit of a different environment. And you see guys kind of like flounder a little bit when they get out of the pipeline. They're just so used to like, I just do what I'm told and I'm awesome at it. And it's like no. So this is all your responsibility now. You're in charge of your own destiny to a certain extent. Don't mess it up. I'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Yep. And that's really your first assignment. I mean, there's, understand that we are talking generically, right? We're talking about first assignment. You spend probably as an E4, and you'll make E5 there more than likely. You're going to spend 4 years there if we're just going to look at the average, right?
Yeah.
Some people are able to for whatever reason, whether it's they just fall through the cracks or somebody's looking out for them or something like that, they will stay at that unit for 4 years, usually not 8. But some of the boys on Herbie, some of the boys on Herbert Field, they definitely stay a bit longer.
They stick around.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe jump on over to STTS, become an instructor for a little bit, and then come back to the 2-3. There's reasons, you could stick around. Maybe
a little time with the group. But
yeah.
So that's kind of where we're basing this on. So by the time you finish up that first assignment, you'll be a staff sergeant in E5, and you're still doing team time. You've probably got some qualifications in terms of you've probably been to static line jump master school. You've probably been to some kind of dive soup school or gotten the dive soup upgrade. If you're lucky, and if you're lucky and if you're good, maybe you got a chance to go to free fall jump master. But more than likely, that's probably going to be like a tech sergeant range, maybe, just with availability and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it depends on there's where you're at, how many jumps you can get, how your schedule lines up with all the jumping stuff.
Right.
It's just some guys end up going down the jump path. We've talked
Yep.
about this before. Some guys just end up doing certain things a lot better than everybody else, and some of that's opportunity, some of that's like what they like to do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yep. And there's a good chance that you've already started your joint terminal attack controller path as well, training, because that's not like a school and then you're done. Like there's a school and then continuation training going on with them. So that kind of wraps up your first assignment, and it's you can expect to be on team the entire time. Then you go to your second assignment.
There's other good stuff. Let's talk about the equipment you get, the shooting schools, how often you're off state.
Oh,
Like you're
yeah,
busy.
yeah.
You should be busy.
Yeah, and that's what I meant about being great at your craft. Like there's so many different schools you can go to as well.
Yeah. So like it's definitely like by the time you leave your first assignment, and this happens quick, you're kind of like one of the older guys. Like maybe not older, but like you are a team guy, certified team guy by the end of your first. Like you show up wet behind the ears, all that other stuff. By the time you leave, if you stay in and you spend 4 years at one location and you re-enlist, and then you get a PCS to another location, like you are vetted, and there are a lot of expectations levied upon you at that point. But hopefully you've been having a really good time, because that should be one of the funnest parts of your career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate to say the F word, but yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And by that time, depending on when you arrive to the unit or when you leave, you should be able to squeeze 2 deployments out of that.
Yeah.
That's about right. Maybe a third, but again, it depends. Like, because what we have is sometimes people will finish school and show up to the unit, and the unit is already deployed, or they're about to deploy, like a month out, and you're not going to go on that deployment.
Yeah. My last deployment, I mid-ripped, and I came back to the 2-3. I walked into my team room, and there was a pile of new guys, and they're all looking at me like,
Yep.
"Who are you?"
Who's
And
this
I'm
guy?
like, "Get out of my seat, dude. I got a lot of stuff to do." They're looking at me like I'm a new guy. It's like, nah, dog. Like, move.
I just got back from war.
You don't understand. We drilled so many holes in runways and checked the soil beneath it.
So that's your first assignment. Then you'll end up going to your second assignment, and I kind of put this in the, you're still a staff. You'll likely make tech at this assignment or E6. So you can expect team time, right? If you go to another operational unit, you can go to a team.
Yeah, you better be careful on that first assignment, because if you're really good and people like you, and someone's searching, I'm talking to you, Spencer, and someone's searching for an awesome instructor, and there's openings in AETC, and they know your name, they might, well, you can't by name request people, but they might find a way to get you orders to the training side. I don't feel bad about
it. Sometimes you're a victim of your own success, Spencer.
Yeah, you did it to yourself.
So yeah, you can get some team time. You could also go with what you were talking about. You may end up, your second assignment could be to Air Education Training Command in some regards, whether it is at the pipeline, the initial part of our pipeline. It could be to dive school. It could be to one of the combat control school, pararescue school house, that kind of stuff, or the TACP schoolhouse.
Got some free fall instructors.
Yep.
I think we used to have guys out of Benning. I'm not sure if we held on to any of those slots. I
hope not.
I know TACPs might have taken over most of those.
Yeah. So there's a couple different, you could go to special operations tactical, or special operations terminal attack course, which is SOTAC. You could go be an instructor there as well. I'm sure we're missing something, and it's going to be blatantly obvious. And one of the guys are going to be like, "Hey, how come you didn't mention this?" Man,
I don't know. There's the prep course that's not the prep course anymore, but it is still the prep course. There's the selection course. There's I think MP3 is mostly contract driven.
yeah. What about the human performance? Is it squadron or group?
We got two. We have to have both, right? We have the group because we had to have another group to create the wing, because reasons. So there has to be a human performance squadron, right? Or is it just the group?
I don't know.
I think there might be two squadrons underneath that group. I don't know.
2 squadrons of like 16 people each, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think on that side, that's typically more like Vic as being like the SEL of one of those squadrons or the group or something like that. So that's typically later on in your career when you'd be in a managerial role over like the human performance folks, or connecting those dots for them back into the operational side of the pipeline.
Yeah. And then if you do, so say you avoid or you don't go to Air Education Training Command, you do go back to an operational unit. Yeah, you might be going back to the team, but you also might, during that time, you might end up in the fire shop or the survey shop, or potentially even being up in ops or stand eval, standards and evaluations. I mean, at that point, it's like you are experienced at that point.
Which is so terrifying to look back and to realize how fast that happens.
Bro, it's wild.
But so here's the thing though too, with the fires survey, if you end up in ops doing scheduling and all that other stuff, or you go to AETC, culturally in special tactics, those things are not something that people chase. But I will say professionally, it seems like the guys that branch out and do a lot of those things, myself excluded, obviously, end up gaining a lot of skill sets that benefit, them when they end up becoming like a team sergeant or a team leader and all these other things, having a broader understanding of how everything works. If you are in ops for like a year or year and a half, and then you come back to the team, your knowledge of how, to schedule the aircraft, to get everything done, and your touch points within the squadron and beyond of all the people that we need to talk to in order to execute our training and our deployments correctly and efficiently, you're a huge asset to the team at that point. It's just that I think everybody knows, it's just nobody wants to do it because it ain't cool.
No, it's definitely broadening your perspective though, for sure. And that's one of the things that like cross trainees bring over really nicely, whether it's to the pipeline, cross trainees in the pipeline or cross trainees on team. Because I remember like we'd always have cross trainees all over, and they were great because one, they usually a little bit older, a little more experienced, and then they would have regular Air Force experience or regular Army or Marines, or SEALs rather, because we've had all those folks cross over. And when the dudes start complaining about like, man, this is bullshit that we're doing this, and those dudes go like, oh dude, this is
eyebrow comes up like,
yeah, like this isn't bad, dude. Like in the Army, I remember one of the dudes we had, and he's a stud. He's still in, I'll just call him Pistol Pete. He was Army. He actually smoked 2 or 3 dudes with a javelin when he was in the Army.
Oh dang!
Like yeah,
that's
so
pretty
he
rare.
showed up to team as a brand new dude, having time in the Army, and having already deployed and smoked some people. It was good. Nice. So yeah,
like, I just want to do more.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that was a go-to, or I say is a go-to dude. And that's another problem, Spencer. When you're a victim of your own success, is it sucks because you end up coming in and as a team sergeant, and you go, who's going, if I say something with minimal instruction, minimal direction, who's going to crush this? Well, Spencer, this one's on you, bud.
Yeah.
It is constant. Every time there's something, it's constant.
Don't be so good at stuff, Spencer.
Okay. So yeah, there's that probably wraps up the second assignment, I'd say. By that time, you're leaving as a tech sergeant.
Yeah, and that's a big. That's when you're starting to approach like the big, like probably around your 10-year mark, right? So this is typically the you're going to stay in or get out. There's always the guys that do like a single enlistment, but
Yeah.
everybody talks about the 10-year mark. If you go over 10, you might as well do 20, which I'm not sure is true. But like that tech sergeant looking into master sergeant time frame of your career is kind of a big deal. It's when you go from I'm the man to being like pouring all of that into other people.
Yeah.
And it can be a difficult transition.
Yeah. That's also the time I actually got, since I was talking about the weapon school last week, this is also your second assignment is the time that you would want to head out to the weapon school if you so choose. And
If you're
and
good
go
enough.
Dude, I hop into so Nate from Valhalla VFT.
Yeah.
I learned a couple of weeks ago that he was 18 series JTAC as well.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna have to. So he talks a bunch of shit. So I just go into his live stream, his live chat, and just start talking shit, and it's great. But I'm gonna have to go into Ajax, into records, and I'm gonna have to pull some of his records and just start like leaking shit just to mess with you.
It's such a on the surface, it's like everything else, dude. And I remember because this is like a personal thing for me because I remember the moment I started figuring out how complicated it is to be a good JTAC and how spoiled we are to have Air Force JTACs around all the time and how different it could be if they weren't, solely focused on that. It's funny because like on the surface it can be like, oh, you just talk to the plane and you drop bombs. It's like, bro, if you want someone to actually drop something where it needs to be at the time it needs to be there without breaking any of the 8 million rules that they have that change on a fairly regular basis and like all these and make sure that they're tracking all of us and all of our teammates at the same time, and then understanding like, do we have artillery, all the things that they have to think about to get that one bomb in that one place at that one time to save all of our lives. It's a big job. It's like all the other things. From the surface it might look easy, it is not. And so all these sister service guys, they're like, I'm JTACs. Like some of them, like I think the Marines have some guys that are like really good at it because they like live in it a little bit, but no one lives in it like the Air Force guys.
Yeah, I mean the other soft entities definitely have some dudes that are really good at it for sure. But if you look at like the aggregate, I mean it's what we do, it's what we focus on. We are air centric people, right?
Yep.
Like so we are naturally going to be better at it. But that's not to take away from the other soft entities, because there are some dudes that know how to freaking move some ordnance.
Yeah, but the average between the two is different.
Yes. Okay, so that covers the second assignment. Then you go into your third assignment. By this time, you're E6, E7, and you're definitely, if you're not an E7 already, you're definitely going to make it on your third assignment.
Yeah.
And you are, on your third assignment, you are
getting old.
Yeah, you're probably between 10 and 14 years in.
Yeah. Speaking of old, I'm going to take myself a little 3-minute break here real quick. You know what I mean?
You got to do what you got to do. And I'm going to keep babbling. Okay. So your third assignment is, like I said, E6, E7, Tech Sergeant, Master Sergeant. And this is where you can kind of start to see the break off. If you were in Air Education Training Command for that second assignment, there might be a chance that you're in it again if you wanted to be, right? Can you leave? You absolutely can. You could go back to an operational unit. You've got your overseas options. You've got your stateside options. And then there's a chance that you're going to roll in there and be not an element later, but NCOIC of the team, not of a team, but of an element within the team. Or if you're already that E7, you're going to end up likely being a team sergeant. You may have to, because there needs to be a vacancy in terms of that team sergeant position, you may need to go into something else temporarily at your third assignment to allow time for that that team sergeant the other team sergeant to vacate so you can move into that. But this is your kind of team sergeant time where you're going to have a team. You could end up in the fire shop running the fire shop. You could be running operations, even as a master sergeant, E7 up there.
I mean, yeah, sometimes as an E6, right? Like this
Yeah.
is one of those things too where, like, depending on where the career fields are, how many E6s we have at each unit, how many E7s and 8s we have at every unit, you know, it's you could be an E6 and find yourself running some E7 temporary E8 type responsibility positions, at least temporarily.
Yeah. And that doesn't include, so when you were out, I talked about how if you're in AETC for your second assignment, you could leave there, right? You could leave to go back to an operational unit, or if you want to stay in AETC, you could end up going to a higher echelon potentially, be it the group, the wing. Usually not. If it's like combat control school or pararescue school, and you show up as a tech sergeant and you make master sergeant, you could fleet up within there, but there's a good chance that you're not going to spend more than 4 years at dive school or at free fall or at one of the schoolhouses.
You will, yeah, understand like the PJ schoolhouse and the combat control SR schoolhouse. You do have an STS up at Pope alongside of it, and the other unit that's on the other side of that fence. But it's not like being down here in San Antonio, where you have a group and a wing and all these other positions that you could fleet up into. And so, if you make master at like at the combat control schoolhouse, you might still end up just being an instructor, or you might get fleeted up to a supervisory position, or if it's available, right? And in AETC, you can't just because you make rank doesn't mean you automatically get orders like some of the other places that you go. So it's one of those things. So like outside of like your big areas, like your San Antonios and your Hurlburts and all that other stuff, you make rank and you'll probably leave that assignment to go somewhere else once your time is up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I mean, how long are some of the boys hanging out at San Antonio for?
Well, against their better, what they want to do. It's for some time. Well, and it's one of those things too where I think things are changing a little bit where we're not trying to move people just to move people anymore. But AETC does drive the assignments for the most part, like all the forced assignments. But yeah, some of the guys have been here for a while. But like,
Yeah.
you don't want, it's such a different thing from the operational side. It's like, hey, I got this guy that made E7 while he was here. Oh, and then he made E8 while he was here. And I put him up in staff and now he made E8. Do I send him back to an STS, which he might want to do? But like the MAGCOM functional position isn't opening up. And this dude has, 5-6 years of AETC experience. He knows how all this stuff works. And so like from the CFM perspective, I don't want to take one of my guys from one of the STSs and drop him into the MAGCOM functional position in AETC who has no idea what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe did an instructor tour a decade ago for 4 years as a staff sergeant, but doesn't understand all the staff, queepy, stuff. So it would only make sense that you just like fleet that dude up. And whether that dude is psyched about it or not, it's like, bro, you have the experience, you speak the language, and AETC is a huge thorn in the side of the CFMs. Having someone down there that can just take care of business makes their life a lot easier.
Oh yeah. So I'm glad you brought it up because MFM or MAGCOM or Major Command Functional Manager, meaning like if you're the Air Education and Training Command MFM, then you can explain it better than I can. Shit.
So we have career field managers. So there's two types of like authority over what happens to you in the Air Force, right? There's your functional authority, which is your career field, and then there's like the operational side, right? Like, so your career field manager who sits at the Pentagon or Crystal City or wherever they actually sit up there, they determine the requirements for the career field, kind of like map out how your career goes as like a combat controller or an SR guy or a PJ guy, and makes a lot of those types of decisions of training requirements and how all that stuff goes as your career field, right? And also assignments. So they're sitting up there at the Pentagon and they're deciding, or advising on, who goes where, how that works, how many people we need at every location, whether or not we're going to shut down STSs and all that other stuff, all that strategic level stuff. And so your MAGCOM functionals. So like for combat control and SR, you have an E8 or another chief at AETC and at AFSOC. So that CFM has someone that they can talk to within those commands that are like experts within those commands on everything that's going on, one echelon down to basically do the same thing. So they push a lot of their authority down to that level as long as you're keeping them apprised of everything that's happening. So you're talking about assignments, you're talking about training your guys, you're talking about all those different things, and how the pipeline is going on the AETC side, all that other stuff. You got to sign all the paperwork, and it's real.
You're also the kind of you're the last line of defense really for cross trainees too, right?
That's right.
Are you the last?
On the AETC side, I know we handled all the cross training stuff, all the retraining, cross training. We were the decisional authority.
Okay.
So some of those authorities, right? I think on the TAC-P side, they had like a staff up there with their CFM, and they would send all the retraining stuff up there because they had people that could handle it. But I know I'm pretty sure for PJ, us and the controllers, they said you guys make those decisions. You sign the paperwork. If you say yes, then they're in. If you say no, they're not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I know Goot was the CCT MFM, and I think Aaron sent somebody to him, and he had given him a test and signed his paperwork as a cross trainee, and then also vouched for him. He's like, Goot, I did the paperwork, I did the test, like he's good to go. And then the dude showed up, and I think he failed his IFT or something like that.
Yeah, there's nothing like getting a bunch of dudes to stamp approval on your forehead, and then to go there and totally blow it day one. We really enjoy that because we're gonna tell each other about it. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Aaron definitely got phone calls and text messages about that from Goot.
Yeah, and we've talked about that before. Though, like, Aaron and Goot have spent a long time building their reputations up and all this other stuff. And if you say someone's good, like every retrainee that came in to go for combat control or cross training had the GZ stamp of approval on their forehead. Yep. And so it's real personal when you talk to these guys, you talk to their supervisors, you do all this stuff to get them in and over here. And I know that they've done a lot of work to get here as well, but then to show up day one and like embarrass you like that, it's hurtful.
Hate to see it.
Yeah.
Another option that you may not know, and this is third, potentially fourth assignment, depends on your rank and that kind of stuff, but you end up could go to a theater special operations command. So you could end up going to SOCCENT Special Operations Command, CENTCOM, or Central Command. You could end up going to the Africa Command or the European Command out in Stuttgart, Germany. You could, there's one over in the Pacific. You could end up going to Special Operations Command, like actual command out in Tampa. So those are those theater special operations commands that you could end up going to. That's usually as an E8 or senior though. So could that be your third or maybe fourth assignment, depending on how quickly you happen to fleet up and make rank.
Yeah. Well, and like it gets real flexible. So like after you're E6 and you're looking at E7, especially once you make that stripe, there are so many places that I can send you as an E7, but that's the thing. There's so many, but so few all at the same time, right? Like because there's not that many dudes moving around, or there's a lot fewer dudes. So it gets real flexible. So like even like talking about your career, like you went out to SOCOM, and then you went back to a squadron, and then you went back to the weapons school. And before SOCOM, you were at the weapons school?
Yes. So I went Pope, and then as in, the 21st. Right. Then I went 321st at Mildenhall, and I spent 8 years out there, which is very unusual. And I don't even think you can do that now. So I spent 8 years out at Mildenhall.
It's called the Peaches rule. That's why you can't do it anymore.
Only I can do it. And then I went to weapon school at Nellis for 4.5 years. Then I spent 2 years at the 2-3,
That's right.
2 years down at SOCOM.
And you left the
Then
2-3 because you made rank, assumably, right? Presumably. Did you make 8 while you were there, and then they kicked you down to SOCOM, or?
I did make 8 while I was at 2-3, yeah.
So when you see like those 2-year assignments, like, you know, Peaches shows up, he's the team sergeant for a while, just for like a little bit, and you make rank, and they're like, bro, bye.
Yeah. We need you elsewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2-3 for 2 years, SOCOM for 2 years because I made chief out of there, and then that's what's crazy about it. Once you get that E8, E9, dude, there's so few of you, and there's a lot of different positions, and that's when I noticed I lost control of kind of where I went. And maybe it was an illusion of control from my earlier assignments, but I would plant seeds and I would prep and just kind of pave the road so it made sense for me to go a certain direction. So that's how I would do that. So I went everywhere that I wanted to go, with the exception of later on assignments. Like I loved my time at the 2-2, but it was actually not they wanted me to go to Cannon, and then it turns out I couldn't go to Cannon. So for exceptional family member stuff. So then I ended up at the 2-2, which was awesome. And then back at the weapon school.
Dang. Yeah, so it's a little weird sometimes, but like, yeah, once you make E8, I think one of the reasons too I wanted to get out is people are like, you could become a chief, and I'm like, I do not want to talk to the chiefs group ever.
Yeah, the chiefs group is a funny old thing, because people think it's a bunch of a group of chiefs that are making decision, and it's one chief. Usually, it's one chief with a staff of like a master, maybe
like
2
3
techs.
people. Yeah,
That, and they are the group of folks that are managing assignments for every single chief within the Air Force.
Yeah, it's wild. And so it's funny because like up until that point, your career field has a lot of say over what's happening. At a certain point, it's just math, right? There are certain assignments that you just, you know, AFPC will be like, we got to do this, like something's got to happen, or that you can't get this guy out of this because of X, Y, and Z. But your career field has a lot of say in where everybody goes, especially on our side because we're so small. But man, you make chief, and it's a whole nother world. And then there's that chiefs group, and then you have to have some really pretty powerful advocates to get the chiefs group to bend to their will. And, you know, the career field can't just, the CFM that can't come down and be like, you need to do this. Like, they can tell them, the chiefs group will be like, cool. But man, like, unless you're getting like more people involved, it can be difficult to make them do the thing that we need them to do.
Yeah, you definitely lose control, and control and influence, because you got all these chiefs that are hitting the chiefs group. So I'll defend the chiefs group in a way, just because
You would.
No, me and the chiefs group never got along.
I know.
Never got along, because the tone of the chiefs group changes depending on who that chief is. You know, but they it's like being a MFM too, where everybody's, you know, contacting you going like, hey, I want to move here, I want to move in this location, or don't move me here, and that kind of stuff. And you're trying to manage it all and make everybody happy. Whereas the chief group, unless you know that chief, like no kidding know that chief, then you can make some shit happen. If not, they go, oh, well, this is the chief handbook and this is what it reads. And then you'll like, this is what the rules are, and that's what's happening. And you're like, but the chiefs group will break the rules in a heartbeat if the Air Force says you need to. For example, you're supposed to go squadron chief, group chief, small wing, or a tier 1 wing, right? And I don't mean tier 1 like unit, I mean a small wing,
Right.
then a large wing, and then so on. And if you think about it, that's 18 months to 2 years at each one of those assignments. But if you happen to go and you're a squadron chief, and you've been there for 6 months, and the group chief gets fired or retires, all of a sudden you'll end up being the group chief, not hitting your marks, right? You'll just skip right ahead. Or you could be a freaking stud like TJ Gannell and go from not even being a squadron chief, being the legislative liaison chief, to being a wing chief. He skipped 2 to go be a wing chief. Now, it was a small wing, right?
Yeah.
But it's still a wing, and now he's the 27th SAL out at Cannon. He's the wing chief there.
The best part about Cannon is their wing chief.
So,
but it's TJ too. Like all these things are flexible, right? There's always rules until they're broken. And it's just frustrating though when like someone like you is like, "Hey, can I do this?" They're asking me to do this. I'll stay in. I'll stick around. I'll keep wearing the uniform. And they're like, "No." They're like,
yeah, because they didn't want to.
okay.
They were like, the rules are the rules, and I'm like, but you break the rules all the time.
Yeah, are they?
And I'm all about breaking rules, and they're like, no.
Those are more like guidelines. Okay.
Yeah, rules are made to be broken,
dude. And when you're sitting in those positions too, it's not just like the individual that calls you. Like if I am trying to pull like a Spencer over, it's him, it's his supervisor, it's his chief, it's probably a major or their commander. Like everybody's like, "What are you doing? You can't just come into my squadron and give someone orders." It's like, yeah. Anyway, like I have to have an instructor over here. You're gonna get another guy out of the pipeline. So I'm glad you like him, but he's my
yeah. Can you take somebody else, please? Please take somebody else.
Yeah, no. I know why you're saying that, and no.
Yeah, but it's nice because when you get these guys that are just, I mean, sometimes you don't even have to give them direction. They know what needs to be done, and they just knock it out. You're like, dude, if I could just get like 20 of you, we freaking take over AFSOC or take over the world,
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is what it is. It's hard. I will say that that was one of the cool things about being a functional was when I left, or the dudes that I'd pulled into AETC totally legally and following all of the rules, definitely, that they're such good dudes that like I felt really comfortable leaving. It's good. You guys are better than I would ever be at all these things. So signal her out.
I think I know we only hit the enlisted side. I guess for officers, you go to team. Like yours is pretty much laid out, and there's not much deviation. Like you could go to team for your first assignment. Your second assignment, there's a good chance that you might go be the wing commander's exec, or you may end up going to go be kind of an assistant DO at a unit. And then as a 04 or a major, you have IDE, which is school. So maybe you'll pick up school, maybe not. Maybe you'll go be a DO or a director of operations at a squadron. You could go be as a major, you could go be the commander of one of the schoolhouse squadrons.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Now that's a senior major, not a brand new major.
Yep.
And then, you make lieutenant colonel or 05, and then you could still be that schoolhouse squadron commander. You could be an actual squadron commander at one of the, an actual squadron, because the training squadrons aren't real squadron trainers.
Yeah, we had him on the podcast.
What an asshole thing.
We've had multiple of those guys on the podcast.
You could go be an operational squadron commander. Then also the 05s have SDE, which is also school, because they put a lot of school into these educated people. And then let's see, what else?
Yeah,
there are staff positions.
Captain is SOS, right?
Yep.
And then before you become a squadron commander, you're supposed to go to, what's the next school that they go to?
I don't know. Well, because they have IDE as a major, and usually if they don't go to IDE, they go to staff. They'll be an action officer on a staff at Air Combat Command or Air Education Training Command or Special Operations Command, or they go back to the academy to do that as well. To be, I think, deck commanders. I'm probably wrong on that one.
I mean, you can be deck commanders. You can be an instructor. I know my wife got an invitation to go be like an English professor at the academy when she was an officer. And between just us, I was a little upset that we didn't take that assignment. She was like, I don't want to go there with all those people. I'm like, you get to be just a professor at the academy. And then I get to take one of the nonsense jump billets out there and just teach these idiots how to jump out of planes or whatever else that they want me to do there. And we're in Colorado Springs, and I get to make fun of cadets all day, every day. But we didn't do it.
What option did she choose? Obviously, I know that you guys stay there, but what job option did she choose then?
I don't remember, man. I mean, it might have been between that and San Antonio. It was a while back, but
okay.
I mean,
so it was before San Antonio?
I think so, or like when we were first here or something. But she was like, she's just that she's prior enlisted, and then she knocked out her master's like as soon as she commissioned, and so she was, they were like, they gave her the opportunity, and she said no. I was like, I mean, I wouldn't do it now today for reasons,
right,
because it's different.
But what an awesome! I mean, that's Colorado Springs. She's a professor at the academy. You're teaching cadets and doing Wings of Blue
or whatever,
at the academy, and
just mocking them when they get their jump wings and being like, "That's not real. You suck. That's not real. Make a different badge for your stupid thing that you do, because that's not airborne."
That is funny that they just use Wings of Blue just uses the airborne.
Yeah.
How is that allowed? Actually, I don't understand.
I have no idea.
You can't,
because they're not on status. They can't. Like if they want to jump out of a plane with us as airborne, they would still have to go through the bending school. So like,
it should be a different badge.
It should be a different badge.
Yeah.
I definitely judge officers that I see with that badge that I know didn't go through the airborne school, just because like, why do you wear it? Like I would just refuse to wear it if I was them. Like I refused to wear it when I first went through airborne school when I went back to the weather squadron, because I'm like, I'm not whatever, like I'm not going to sew it on until I'm actually like, I've never been like a big badge guy anyway.
Yeah.
It's like people are like, you have to wear that, that's an aeronautical badge, and this is the dumbest conversation I've ever had millions of times in my career, but I'm like, it's not an aeronautical badge, guys, but you should read the regs that you keep misquoting to me. It's fine.
Oh, you're an angry elf.
Well, I did. I started just making bets, and I won a lot of lunches off that one.
Oh yeah. Oh, I bet you it's not an aeronautical badge, and I'm not required to wear it.
Yeah, because the people would be like, it's like a million other things in the Air Force where people are like, this is the rule. You lose your First Amendment rights when you join. It's like, that's not true. And then they're like, airborne badge is an aeronautical badge. I'm like, it's worn as if it was, with the precedence of an aeronautical badge, even though it is not. So like for a pilot, right? If they get their wings, they absolutely have to wear it. Like it's not an option. It's an aeronautical badge. For your airborne wings, at least when I was in, if you wear it, it goes on top or above your other badges that you have, as if it's an aeronautical badge, but it is not an aeronautical badge, so it's not a requirement to wear.
There you go. Make sure you take that. If you're a team guy, make sure you do that and you really throw it in your chief's and your team sergeant's face.
They love it.
I would love it. Have that argument with them. It's great.
Yeah, we had lots of stupid arguments. I mean, I remember one day somebody on my team, so like when Sauti back in the day when they didn't have free fall as part of the pipeline, one of the young guys was like complaining about it or something, and I just pulled out my knife, and I had like 3 badges on my uniform, and I just cut them all off, and I'm like, there, who cares, man? Like, are we doing free fall over in Afghanistan right now? Any of us? No? Is that where you're like, then shut up. Let's continue training and get on this deployment. Like,
but
yeah,
that is, we do argue in the team room about some wild shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and get and get very passionate about it too.
Yeah, building 7 in the team rooms. It's a good time. Or
How did Doodling 7 go down? Were the moon landings real?
oh, definitely not. That was all fake. The legalization of marijuana, all kinds of things.
Steroids?
Yeah. I mean, I think most guys agree about steroids, though, right?
Yeah. I don't know anybody that hasn't. At
Hasn't.
least in the team room. Everybody's like, yeah, dude, give me gear. I'll do it up. And
Or
I
get
agree. Why wouldn't you want your dudes being the biggest, strongest, fastest dudes and healthy, just like stem cells and HGH should be given out like
yeah,
candy.
or just like APO. Just like who cares? It's fine, but even if I didn't want to take some of the stuff, like like I don't care if my traps are up to my ears, but you can give me something that helps me recover faster, that helps me with my endurance. You can turn me, you can Lance Armstrong me a little bit. Hit me up, coach.
Does that take your ball away or one of your balls or?
I think you have to lose a ball before you get on all the APO. It's a requirement. You're like, this is a weird thing that you have to do. They're like, we have to do it. Sorry.
We've got to take them. We got to castrate you. At least one of them. Oh man, that might be a good spot to end it then.
That's why we don't let women in special operations. That's why.
Because we're not able to castrate you.
There's nothing to take away. What do you do?
I mean, what are we doing? Oh boy. All right. Hopefully that was educational for you guys. It might have been a little boring for you because that really was educational versus kind of entertaining. So appreciate you guys joining us.
Yeah.
Later. See ya.
Bye.